All right, happy Halloween, guys. I wanted to do something a little different here, so I am going to do a comparison between Halloween 6, the theatrical cut, and Halloween 6, the producer's cut. So before I do that, I need to give you my thoughts on the theatrical cut. So let's get into this big bad boy. I got a lot to say about this. I went and saw this in 1995, right when it came out. I was 13 years old. I was a hardcore Halloween fan. I had seen Halloween 4 and 5 in theaters when I was way too young to be there. Shame on you, Mom. But thank you for taking me regardless. So yeah, let's get into this, man. I was a huge fan of this in 1995. I just thought it was the shit. When I was a 13-year-old kid, I just thought this was so cool. Michael was butchering people. Michael was pissed off. Michael was angry. There was some gore. There was head explosions. Hell yeah. I was all about this shit. The whole Thorn thing is it's such a weird thing for me. Like, I almost view 5 and 6 as like this alternate universe. Like, almost like a comic book what if scenario. Like, what if Michael was being controlled by a pagan cult and he was trying to, it was one of those things that I was just kind of like, okay, this is ridiculous. It's kind of like when I watch Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie one, and I look at the White Horse stuff. Like, I'm just like, wow, like, what made you come up with this? This is so crazy. This is so outside. Now, the White Horse stuff I do not like and I think is stupid. Maybe if I saw it at 13, I would have been able to be like, maybe it's in an alternate universe like I did with this one, but I didn't. And I think that horse stuff is stupid. But besides that, I actually really like that movie. But anyway, let's stick to Halloween 6. So the Thorn stuff for me is just, I take it for what it is. It's kind of just like, they wanted to explain how Michael could possibly be coming back, and they wanted to change it up because they didn't want to keep doing the same thing over and over. So like they tacked on the little thorn symbol on the wrist in 5 and then elaborated on it in 6. Obviously with plans to use it because that's a marking and they with a pagan symbol, so they had some kind of an idea in mind. But Halloween 5 was in 1989, and this is in 1995, so you're talking a 6-year gap. I don't know what the hang-ups were, but yeah. So the opening of this movie alone is just so different. We open with this like really fast-cut showing of like a ton of the scenes from this movie, and then it goes to Jamie having this baby, and they're and then they're like doing some like pagan ritual on it, and you got a baby with like evil symbols and blood on its chest, and you're like, damn, man, this movie is dark. And I definitely want to say, like, that's my very first positive of this movie for sure, is that this movie is fucking dark, and the atmosphere and the tone in this movie are fantastic. I do love that about this movie. Same thing with Halloween 4. Such a fucking dark, atmospheric tone throughout, and I adore it. I think that's why I don't like H2O. It's just not dark. It feels not light, but something along those lines where it's just, I don't know, it's like too pretty. This film is dark and gritty and just, I don't know, it goes into these, it feels like you're having a nightmare almost. And I love that about it. I love George P. Wilbur as Michael. I loved him in 4 and I love him in 6. He just looks like that middle-aged Michael. I mentioned that in my H2O review, how I didn't like the look of Michael in that one. I like the look of him in this. I don't like the guy, Don Shanks, who plays him in 5. I don't look like that look either. I'm glad that Wilbur came back for this one as well. The fact that they didn't bring back Danielle Harris is so lame to me, especially since she only wanted $5,000 to return and was stoked to do it. And they turned her down. I guess they were just like, oh, hell no. And it's like $5,000 for, really? Like, it's a pretty big scene too. You don't want to bring back that character for connective tissue? You fucking cheap asses. Fuck Dimension. Anyway, this movie went through so many problems, so many rewrites. I mean, most of the cast and crew want it completely like stricken from the record. Like they didn't want their names detached from it. They completely have, you know, disowned the film, and that's a bummer because I do enjoy this film. There are flaws, no doubt, but tonally and lots of other other things that go on in this movie that I just absolutely love. Now, keeping with what I am liking, I love that the town has banned Halloween. That absolutely makes sense, and I love that the kids are protesting it. They have no memory of it. They're like, fuck this guy. It's been forever. Like, go away. He's dead. I love Paul Rudd in this. They originally went and tried to get the kid who played Tommy Lee Tommy Lee. No, that's the guy who directed Halloween 3. They tried to go get the kid who played Tommy in the first one, but he, they couldn't get a hold of him, and he said he was bummed that he missed the opportunity. But I think Paul Rudd was awesome in this because it is such a different Paul Rudd in this. He is so weird. He is so awkward. And there's a scene in this movie when he first sees Michael Myers, like face to face, and he's like trying to, open up the door with the fire extinguisher. The look on his face, I love it. It is just this, like, he doesn't know whether to scream or cry or laugh, or he's just like broken. He's like, and he like kind of like pulls himself back out of it. Like, here's his nightmare. This thing that everyone's been telling him isn't real forever, and there he is, like in the flesh. Like, he was right all along, and now he's like, oh shit, like I don't know what to do. I'm fucking terrified, and I absolutely love that. Yet again, as I said in another previous video, like, I love that this film has obscure characters thrown in. Not like crazy obscure, but characters that they had basically ignored in sequels. And it's cool to see those kinds of characters back, because it's just like, it's good to see, it feels connected when you take smaller characters from other films, past films, and threw them into this. It's like, this is the little kid and Wynn, that's the guy he's bitching with as he walks to his car from Smith's Grove Sanitarium. How cool. So I love that kind of stuff. I love that a lot of the deaths in this are graphic, and Michael Myers, he's been at this a long time. He's went through a lot of shit. He's been shot, he's been burned, he's been, everything under the sun. And this time he's pissed off, and he is wrecking people. He's hitting people with fucking axes at full force. He's blowing people up by sticking them in electricity. Their heads are exploding. He breaks that one guy's neck, and he throws, Jamie Lloyd's character on that. I don't even know what the hell that thing is. I'm not a farmer. I'm guessing it's like some kind of separate. I don't know. I'm not even going to guess. And I love the mask in this movie. I know a lot of people harp on it, but it is a trillion times better than the one in H2O. I'm not a fan of the one in 5 all that much. The one in 4 is... this is actually my favorite mask besides, the original. And they use the original mask in Halloween 2. So besides that one, this is actually my favorite second mask. And I really like that, the kid in this defends his mom, when the stepdad stands up, the dad, sorry, his grandpa stands up and he slaps her across the face. And the kid just like pulls out a knife and he's just holding it at the stomach. Like, I love that. I love that this kid is, so close to the breaking point. He's had this cult in his room, like whispering shit into his ear, and he's just on the edge. He's just there. And it's like, you fuck with my mother. You don't know who's been talking to me. I'm the next Michael Myers, motherfucker. You don't know me. I like that the house that they live in is tainted, that everyone in the town is like, nah, I ain't buying the Myers house. That shit, I mean, that's how it would be. It's like, would you want to buy the fucking Amityville house? I might. But it's up for sale, I think. But most people wouldn't, especially people who lived in that town. I really like that Tommy gives Michael this beat down at the end. I mean, as much as I love Michael Myers, I mean, come on, man. I love Michael Myers, but it's good to see somebody like this get their fucking ass beat. Like, he beat Michael. Like, and that's just it. Like, I love that because it's Tommy, you know, letting that anger out. Like, you ruined my fucking life. Like, it has been like 15 years or something since this happened. And, you know, it's been like, what, 18 years, 17 years? You ruined my life. Look at me. I'm fucking awkward. I live in an attic of some you know, deaf chick's house I don't even know, and you destroyed me, and I'm going to fucking destroy you. And I love that. I love just watching him beat the shit out of him. The scene when Kara is upstairs and she's calling across to try to get a hold of her brother, and she sees through the little camera lens, and then she looks down and she sees her friend getting killed, and then she sees, you know, her kid going in the house. From that scene, like from her looking through the lens and seeing the kid walking across the street, till when Kara comes back to Tommy's house and jumps out the window, everything from there, like all of that, it's like a 10-minute scene. She goes across the street to the house, she goes upstairs, she fights Michael, she throws him down the stairs, there's tension, he's walking across the street, it looks a lot like Halloween 1, nod back to that, comes in the house, she goes upstairs, she jumps out the window. That whole entire sequence is fucking fantastic. It has got so much tension, it is so eerie, it is so creepy, it is so well shot, it is so dark. I love it. I love that sequence. That whole sequence is 10 times better than the entirety of H2O. Call me crazy. I don't give a shit. I will give you my goddamn, my real opinion. So anyway, I have a lot more to say here. But I want to get into a couple dislikes. As I said, the Thorn storyline, take it or leave it. It's silly, but I just accept it. Do I think it's stupid? Yes, absolutely. But I just accept it now. It's kind of like one of these things where it's like, I like the film. I like the tone of the film. I like the Michael, you know, I like Michael in this. I like characters in this. I like a lot of things about this. So I'm just like, all right, the Thorn thing's here. Like, deal with it. It's kind of like what I have to deal with to like it. I don't like Barry Simms in this. I think he's annoying as fuck, and I just want to punch him in the face. I think he's supposed to be playing off of the popularity of Howard Stern at the time. And it's just, I don't know. He's fine, but I very much like when he calls Michael Myers a pussy, and Michael Myers fucking looks like he stabs him in the dick. He looks like he stabs him in the dick, and then when you see him hung up in the thing, in the tree with the lights, it looks like he's bleeding from the crotch. So I think he stabbed him in the dick to death, which is awesome. There's some stupid jump scares and like fake jump scares, but whatever. And like Loomis all of a sudden just knowing about Michael's mark, like it's his mark. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, that's so dumb. Like, where was this when you were talking to, you know, Sheriff Brackett? Where was this when, you know, maybe it was late or whatever. Michael never had a tattoo on his wrist. It's silly. Oh well. A lot of like stupid things that I always notice in this movie are in the beginning of this, when Michael is chasing Jamie Lloyd and she like comes out of the secret lair, and the entrance or the exit for her, but like the entrance to the secret lair is a trash can, like a jar, like one of those big industrial trash cans you see in the back of like a grocery store. It's like, really? Like, you don't think anyone's going to want to use that trash can and like open it up like, oh my God, there's a secret lair. Or they expect Mike to just hang out there and stab everyone who tries to throw trash. It's just such a silly thing. It's like, trash can? Really? That's your secret lair? Okay. Huh. Why is there a construction worker in the middle of a storm sitting outside in like a fucking, his like a little plastic bag over, and he's just sitting out there getting hammered while his car's running? Like, why? That's so silly. It's just a body. It's just, how do we get her a car and how do we get a kill? There is a drunk construction worker and he's sitting in the fucking rain for no reason. There's no one at the bus stop either. Like, she gets there and there's literally no one there. Why she's not calling out, screaming for help, I don't know. And then she leaves a baby in a little cupboard. And not only is the baby not crying, but clearly no one works at this bus station. Because when Tommy has to figure it out the next day, he's like, you know, Sherlock Holmesing the situation. He's playing the tape back and he's, you know, adjusting audio so he can hear like, oh my God, it's a bus station. I'm going to drive across town and see this bus station. And when I get in there, I'm going to find blood on the ground. The janitor hasn't cleaned up. I'm going to find blood in the fucking bathroom. I'm going to find blood in the sink. And then I'm the only person that clearly has been in this bathroom in 10 fucking hours. And the baby just so happens to start crying. It didn't roll out onto the ground. It just stayed there perfectly still and waited for Tommy to come in. It's so far-fetched. It's ridiculous. But whatever. As I said, these are just funny, stupid things that I noticed. And I love when Tommy like runs in to the kid and his pumpkin falls on the ground and Tommy just like awkwardly stares and then he like crouches down and he awkwardly stares and it's like no shit, like 15 seconds, 20 seconds before he's like, sorry. It's like the longest pause before an apology I've ever seen. How the hell is the washing machine in the basement running when the guy clearly says, how is this happening? There's no power. That's never explained. It's just on and jiggling and there's blood in it and it's like, but there's no power. And how the fuck did Michael not get shocked when he took a metal rod, stuck it through the guy and was holding the thing the whole time as the guy was. So Michael's just, you know, he does not take an electrical shock at all. I guess he's just dead. Maybe that's what it is. He's just dead, his body. But even a dead body reacts to electrical stimuli. Whatever. These are all those things that I kind of just have to be whatever. It's so funny what you can look past if you like a movie. Nostalgia? Probably. Yeah. And then you've got Kara, she goes and she runs upstairs and she like does the Trish Jarvis jump out the window. Kind of like, I got no other options. I guess I'll just jump out the window because that's not going to knock me out and hurt me so bad that I can't even do anything about it. What is that? I'm not a surgeon, clearly. But what the hell? Do surgeons have machetes? When Michael goes to the table and he's like looking through the implements that are sitting on this, you know, operating table, he looks at all these different little knives and then he just pans over to like this machete. I don't think that they use machetes for surgery, but yeah, it happens. Oh, and another one that they threw in, a random character. Now they made this character up, mind you, but because they've said clearly that Judith Myers was babysitting him that night many times, but supposedly Mrs. Blankenship was babysitting little Mikey Myers that night. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's kind of like, oh, here's another little obscure character who's got a little connective tissue to the originals. Like, I was babysitting Michael Myers and he heard voices. It was just yet another tool to explain away this whole, like, you know, Michael's been hearing shit in his room. So, yeah. The line, it's raining red. I don't know why that line has always stuck with me the way it has. But that little kid dancing in the blood as Barry Sims' blood is raining down on her. And she's like, it's raining red. It's raining red. Mom, it's raining red. Look, it's warm. It's raining red. I have, like, if I had a band, I would name It's Raining Red because I don't know why. That's one of those things I think everybody has, and I have thousands of them, don't get me wrong, but for the Halloween series, there's a few that stuck with me, and the It's Raining Red has always stuck with me. Why I need to tell you that, I don't know. It was sad to watch Donald Pleasance in this movie because he's so old. And his dialogue is so drawn out. You are a madman. It's like, I love Donald Pleasance with every bit of my soul. But it was just sad to see him in this. And final thing, I read every damn thing on here. Jesus Christ, I had a lot of shit to say. We finally get to see Michael Myers in at least a jog. It looks like a run, but I will say it's a jog. When they're going down that corridor and there's the medical, you know, whether he's, we'll just call him a doctor. When he's running behind them and he uses the guy's head and crushes it to open the door, you can see Michael clearly, like at least, you know, running, sweating to the oldies behind him. And it's like, Michael's running, finally. You know, he's like, fuck, man, I'm tired of walking. Never gets me anywhere. I always let the people I'm after go because I'm walking. So anyway, I gotta go watch the producer's cut now. I've only seen that like 2 or 3 times. When I was a kid, that was like a myth. It was like, there's like 45 minutes of different footage and this and that. That's what they said back then. And when I found that at like a swap meet and it was a bootleg VHS, I ran home and I watched that and it was like, what the fuck? My brain was blown because at that time I loved Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, or Halloween 666, The Curse of Michael Myers, or all the different damn names it went through. And so watching that, I was like, I was young, so I was just like, what is this? This is too different. I can't take it. And so I just kind of avoided it from that point on until, you know, Shout Factory, Scream Factory released it and did like a cleanup print, like of the original negative. It was so cool. It was like, oh my God, the producer's cut in real quality. Because that's another thing. The VHS was just, the quality was shit. So you know, the one that we got now is fantastic. And I watched it once since. I think I've only seen it twice. So it's going to be mostly new because it's like 70 minutes of deleted scenes and alternate footage. So I'm very curious because I remember it being, I mean, like a completely different film. So I definitely want to talk about that one in detail, and then I will do a real quick, just kind of what I liked about that one, what I liked about this one, you know, comparison video. So anyway, guys, happy Halloween. I'm very much looking forward to doing this Halloween 6 producer's cut video. So I gotta go watch that. I'm out of here. Adios.